At the Freedom, what did they call it? Freedom Plaza? Is that the name of yours?
It's like the buildings out front, which are the like old originally Nichols Research buildings, are like the Freedom Center. And so then they built another building behind that, and now we're in a building at 4040 Chris Drive, which is just behind that facility. So we're there. We moved there about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
From the building out front, closer to the Parkway that Freedom has, and so we've got like about 27,000 square feet there now, and now we're adding another 24,000 in that same building. So we're building that out, adding a number of new offices, and then a lot of new lab space. We've been doing a lot of additional work that requires optics labs, electronics labs, and things like that. So really excited. We'll be in that space. It's supposed to be finished the end of July. So we hope to be in that space in August of this year. And so that's exciting.
So let's do a quick tail of the tape on Invariant in the sense of how many employees do you have right now?
So we just celebrated 100 employees. So we're like just over 100.
So smart growth.
Yeah, it's been slow growth. It's been smart growth, and that was kind of our model. We never were interested in growing, too quickly. We wanted to always grow the right way. We wanted to get, good personnel, smart people, and grow in that manner. And we've been really successful in doing that. We've really built up an incredible group of folks, highly talented, motivated, and just really a great group of people to work around. So it's we've been in business we started in 2001.
Pre 9/11?
It was pre 9/11. It was May of 2001, so just a few months before 9/11. Mm-hmm. And myself and Brett Gossage and Brent Spears founded the business. And but yeah, it's been really good.
I was going to bring up the website real quick and just show that page because this is important to the story. There it is. So there's in picture now. There's Brent, your fellow co-founder. Right. Now Brett is now retired or
so Brett
an emeritus.
Gossage, he has stepped back a little bit. He's in not really retired. He's like part-time now. So he still stays involved. He was from a lot of the software that developed in modeling simulation aspects that he contributes. He still participates in that. Mm-hmm. So he's still with us.
Somewhere I had to, I know on your website's awesome, where Brett is featured talking about something. So that's where I at least picked up on how he's kind of stepped away.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, is he just, let's pause there because you've mentioned a few things. And I really want to key in on the starting of Invariant.
Yeah.
And it goes, for the three of you, Brett, Brent, and David, it goes back to not only Nichols, but then was it ERC before that?
So it was Nichols Research originally. And if you do any research around town of different owners of different companies, there's a lot of tie back to Nichols Research. It was really a fantastic company. A lot of good people there, a lot of good engineers and physicists and scientists. So but anyway, we started working together in the 90s at Nichols Research.
Is that the right one there where it was located? You see that? They had about 2,000 employees and incorporated in 1976.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Off of Memorial, and I guess at one point you guys were on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, they went public, and then eventually they were purchased by CSC.
Okay.
And so I had already left at that point. So then I went to Nichols, or I went to ERC.
Okay.
And then Brett and Brent also went to ERC. So us three.
You knew each other at Nichols.
We knew each other. We worked closely at Nichols, and then all three of us went to ERC, and we were doing support on the Arsenal for the Redstone Test Center, and working in some areas of high performance computing, optical scene projection type work. So it was really cool work. I was over there about 3.5 years. And some of our old customers from Nichols Research were kind of reaching back out to us and say, "Hey, what are y'all doing? Can you help us with this or that?" And so that's really when we decided to just form Invariant to go back and support some of the customers back in the lab that's now AVMIC under DevCom under the Army Futures Command.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of our original customer working on some of those projects, some of those systems over there, and so. So yeah, that was good. Really wanted to start a business where we could be heavily employee focused, not necessarily worry about share price or anything like that, but just be more employee focused, and then really focus on the technology and just kind of find cool work to do and work on that. So yeah, it just turned out really well for us.
Yeah. So I was just talking with somebody about this the other day. So I came from the Intel community and much more. So the thing I love about Huntsville is just, it's been new for me because it's so much hardware. There's a lot of hardware engineering and innovations, hardware in the loop, right? It's just, it's different than kind of just traditional IT systems development, which, I'm sure I know you guys are big in software, but really working with customers just on big data problems. It's just data, right? And there's infrastructure that your stuff sits on and all that, and ingesting and building applications and stuff like that. But it's different down here. And so, but at the same time, and this is where I want to spend some time on this. So you, Brett, and Brent know each other, and I've seen this happen so many times where 2-3 people work at some company, and at some point they kind of sit back and they say, we should just do our own thing.
Yeah.
Why are we working for this company and on this big contract? Because basically all we really get from them, and everybody struggles with this. This is not necessarily an indictment. It's just the reality. All we really get is paid by this company that we work for.
Yeah.
And I'm not speaking ill of Nichols or anything like that, but it just, there's those conversations that take place amongst friends at work. We're like, hey, we should just go out on our own. We've got these relationships with these customers, or we know this, or maybe we're being held back by our own management on pursuing an angle or an option, right, that we could pursue.
Right. Yeah.
And we could really exploit, these relationships. But so can you at first just kind of talk about that, I don't know, that friendliness between you, Brent, and Brett, and how you kind of got to a point of trusting, hey, I want to go in business with these guys. I mean, what was that day-to-day really like?
Yeah, again, we had worked closely at Nichols Research on a day-to-day basis, right? So we knew each other. We had unique strengths, as far as I'm an electrical engineer, and then Brett was more, and he's actually a biology major and was more of a physicist and scientist, and then Brent was like a computer software, and so it was really a good mix.
Good complement.
We had complemented each other very well as it relates to, some of us did software, some did hardware, some did a combination of the two. Mm-hmm. So, they're both great guys. So from a trust perspective, there was never a question about that. We worked together for several years. And
you saw each other being stressed out on deliverables and how one another would react under pressure situations.
Yeah, we were always involved in that, and we could see how each other would react, and felt comfortable with being partners in a business like this. And so there's never been, and we've worked well together since then for 22 years, and we've never had any issues like that at all. So again, we complement each other well as far as our expertise, and just saw an opportunity, and really felt like that it was a good time to step out and start our own business, and really try to set it up in a way that we could set it up the way we would want a company to be set up as an employee. Yeah. And really set up the benefits and the structures and how we run the business, that how if you were an employee you would want to see it done, right? So so kind of taking advantage of maybe the things that other companies that had done that we would maybe disagree with, or not have done it if we could have done it that way, and try to take advantage of that. So
we're talking the leave package, your insurance or lack thereof, maybe subsidizing all or some of the premiums, things like that?
Yeah, pretty much. Benefits, profit sharing and things like that. We haven't achieved full employee ownership yet, so that's something we're working on this year and into next year, is transitioning ownership over to the employees. So we're trying to
ESOP program,
what that looks like from a stock incentive program, whether it's an ESOP or EOT, or there's a lot of different ways you can set it up. Yeah. So anyway, that's our focus right now from an employee perspective. I think we've tried to do a good job as far as family leave, bonus, profit sharing, 401k, and then the benefits as it relates to medical and whatnot. So trying to be family oriented, understanding that all our employees, their family is the most important thing, and then work is kind of secondary to that. So trying to make sure we instill that value as far as the company values are concerned.
So let's talk about, I want to make a point, but let me set it up by saying this, and this is the exact conversation I had with my colleague at work yesterday, where we were talking about a lot of companies are really great when they start out, and this goes back to the smart growth, right? Yeah. Even after 20 years, you're at 100 people, but I think this is important, where you can have a company start out and there's a good culture and there's 2 or 3 founders and they're all really capable and good at what they do. And then they're going to, maybe in those first few hires, they're able to hire away maybe some more of their friends who were a little bit, didn't want to take the risk. But now that they see that it's set up and there's some stable work, they join and they're like, okay, so that's good. But then you get to this number, whether it's 10 or 15 or 20 or the type of work, you end up maybe chasing things that really depart from the whole reason you started the company was to really stick to that core competence, right? Or that goal, which was to be different. And then you end up chasing work and somewhat putting people into like, hey, wait a minute, I thought I was going to get to do this or that. Like, yeah, but we got this contract and we have to fill the slot and it's not really up your alley, but it'll get better. Right. And then you start getting into that growth thing, right? And then you realize, oh, it's just we have this opportunity to grow and we're getting all these contracts. But then the culture becomes very difficult and it erodes or it never really even takes form because of that chasing. So I think that's so the next question is if after 20 years, 22 years, and you're at 100 people, that seems very smart, very calculated, probably very careful. And if we look at your products, they're amazing. The things that you all do. And I don't know enough around town yet to know where people want to work, but do you feel like you have this reputation where people would jump at the chance that doesn't come around that often to get to work at Invariant and be part of the Invariant family? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, I don't know if I could say that. I mean, there's really, and it's an amazing town that we live and work in Huntsville. There's just a lot of great companies out there. So I would love for there to be people out there who think, oh yeah, my goal is to go work at Invariant, but there's so many other good companies out there that I'm not sure if that's the case or not. Certainly that would be the goal, right? Is to be able to develop a culture in a company and have the people where everyone wants to come and work for you. And I think we do have a good culture. We have a great group of people, and I think we've generated that environment. The challenge growing from 100 to wherever we grow to is always maintaining family values, a good culture within the company, and always having a small business, small company feel, right? Because you don't ever want to get to a point where you lose that. I think a lot of companies grow to a point where it becomes more about revenue. It becomes maybe more about profit or the shareholders in some cases if you go public and things like that. And we just want to avoid that and always maintain an employee-first attitude and maintain that small business feel.
Yeah, I like how I think the lead-in service on your website is like hardware. What is this? Let me just pull it up. Let me make sure. I don't want to misstate it. And then we can look at this together. It might be under custom hardware development.
Custom hardware
number
development.
One. Yeah. Right. I mean, number one. I think that says it all.
Yeah.
No matter where you're at, the reason I stayed in the Intel community so long was it was super fun.
Yeah.
And every day was different. It was all about mission.
Yeah.
And more, it was funny. You'd lose people to other jobs. They'd go to other industries. They thought they'd be happier. Right. I don't know, selling Coca-Cola or working, I can't, pest control or something lucratively. Oh, there's all this money in it. There's a great opportunity. And they'd always come back.
Yeah.
Because there's something about supporting the warfighter or supporting, the assets overseas, whatever it is, whatever the mission is,
right,
or the operation is for particular customers, and then to be asked, "Hey, we need to reach out to Invariant. We kind of know what we need, but we have no idea really how to go about doing it. I heard Dave Anderson and his crew is awesome. Let's have them build it."